Should be fine now. I already said Bill coming next week. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Until Dallas figure out some things, shoot. Washington's licking their chops right now. Washington's definitely licking their chops. What's going on, Carlos? What's going on? Look, I'm out here at what used to be the outdoor studio. Maybe Mark got to bring this damn outdoor studio back. I don't know, but I mean, if you watch the game, really, Rico Dowdle. A lot of us, we talked about Rico. We talked about Rico not being the RB1 and wanting a little bit more. And Rico really played an angry football game today. He went out there. He told them last week they know what it is. They better buckle up. And Shotty made a joke talking about getting some seatbelt and all this type of shit. And Rico came out here and punched them in their mouth all day. He gave them all they could handle. He told their ass to buckle up. They ain't do shit about it. Bottom line, that's what happened. I'm trying to sugarcoat it, trying to figure out analytics and all that type of stuff. But when Carolina said, you know what, Rico, carry us to victory today, that's what he did. Rico dominated today, and that set the tone for Carolina. And Dak and them ran out of gas on the offensive side of the ball. That's what happened. Carolina sucked the wind out of Dallas. That's what happened. They handed the ball to Rico, and he punched him in the stomach all day. Punched him in the stomach all day. Now, what does that mean for the Cowboys moving forward? Something that I've been saying for quite some time. This ain't a good football team. It's not a good football team because they're going to play to the level of every week. So the offense is good enough to score a lot of points, but the defense cannot consistently stop anybody. And it's like, why can't the defense consistently stop anybody? Because you don't have that defensive player that hid a lot of the bullshit that was on the back end. But I don't even know if it was bullshit on the back end because as we were talking throughout the game, you didn't just lose Micah, you lost Al Harris as well. And Al Harris, while he was in Dallas, was the best defensive backs coach in the NFL. It didn't matter who got hurt, who did this, who did that. They had guys that came in and they played well. You know what I'm saying? So, we scrap all of that type of stuff, scrap all of this. Let's just make it simple. Today, Rico said, I'm going to put my team and I'm going to carry my team to victory. And that's exactly what happened, bro. That's exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like Greg, whoever says Rico sucks, last 2 weeks, Rico hasn't sucked. You can say Rico sucks all you want. He beat that ass today. Beat that ass today. You know what I'm saying? Rico's the type of guy that if he get on the heat wave, he gonna tear you up. He gonna tear you up. He's the first player in 55 years. I don't give a damn who you played against. You played against 2 NFL teams. The first undrafted player in 55 years to have over 200 yards from scrimmage in back-to-back weeks. I don't give a damn. I don't care. I don't care if anybody can run on Dallas. He had to run on somebody else too. So, does Dallas suck? I mean, Josh Jacobs didn't do that. Maybe there is something to Sanborn being out of the lineup when it comes to the run defense. I don't know. But he can't cover and he can't run. They can't do anything on defense. But if you look at allocation of the resources, you look at the players, they don't really got the players on defense. They don't got the players. And it don't matter. If you don't got the players in the National Football League, you're going to get exposed. There's not much they can do. They just got to kind of wait and hope that those draft picks pan out. Because this defense ain't stopping no damn body. If you don't go out there and get somebody to come in here and help, they don't have anything equipped in that building right now that's going to help anything. They don't have anything in that building that's going to help. They don't. You know what I'm saying? This team, this defense, it was kind of, if you look at it, it was kind of built around Micah. But if Micah wasn't getting home, it sucked in too. But now you don't have nobody getting home. Now you don't have nobody getting home. If you had a run stopper, you do got a run stopper. You got Kenny Clark, right? Ain't that what Jerry told y'all, dumbasses? Ain't that what he told y'all? Told y'all, You know, we going to give up the pass rush to be able to stop the run? JC said not one player alone out there will turn this around. There's a ton of people that need to go. I mean, the problem is you've had 3 different philosophies, 3 different defensive coordinators in 3 years. And you got a bunch of players caught in the mix. One year you're asking a player to do this. The next year you're asking a player to do that. Then the next year you're asking the player to do this again or do something, blah, 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 blah. Like, you got too many of those players, too many of the same players, and they caught in the mix of 3 different coordinators, 3 different philosophies. There's no continuity on the defensive side of the ball. You can't say that on offense. On offense, they've had the same philosophy. They've had the same, at least, coordinator or play caller in Shoddy for 3 years. So they've had some continuity over there. That's why that looks a little bit better. On defense, they don't have anything. They have a bunch of guys caught in no man's land. So it's like, you could say fire Eberflus. You could say it. Fire Eberflus. Matter of fact, chat, y'all can say it. Fire Eberflus. Guess what? The next guy that comes in here, if he's not allowed to pick his groceries, if he's not allowed to allocate resources, or they're not going to allocate resources over there, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same exact thing. You're going to bring somebody else in here who can't pick these guys. You're going to tell them you got to make this work right here, and it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I see people dropping because, hey, look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. I'm gonna keep it a buck like I've been. You know what I'm saying? Carlos Holloway says Harris should have been the DC. Absolutely. Yeah. That would have kept continuity, and you at least can ensure the back end was going to be fine. You haven't been able to stop the run because the people upstairs don't like those type of defensive players. They just don't. They want an edge rusher. I think Gerald McCoy said it. It's the way they build their teams. We want to get that one pass rusher like Charles Haley and blah, blah, blah. Screw everything else. We want to get that one linebacker. We want to get that cornerback. The way that they build their teams, they do not build their football teams to be tough on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And I've been telling Mark this. I told him this inside. You know, everybody keeps saying this and blaming the players. We shouldn't have paid Trayvon. Shouldn't have paid Dak. Shouldn't have paid CD. Shouldn't have paid this person, blah, 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 blah. And I had to explain this. It's not like Dallas allocated a whole bunch of resources to go trade for somebody and then didn't have no picks in the draft. They still got all their picks in the draft. They still have had all of their picks in the draft over these years. They're not hitting on their picks. They're hitting more on undrafted free agents than they are their draft picks. They're not hitting on the draft picks, the retention or the cycling. There is no continuity, at least on the defensive side of the ball. You're not hitting on those guys, and you're not keeping the philosophies the same and allowing defensive coordinators to have the guys in here that they need to make their philosophies work. Upstairs don't believe in building the defense for real. That's why. Harold Edwards said, bring Brad Kendricks. Yeah, but see, Kendricks worked a little bit because it was Zim. See, what they shouldn't have done, they should have allowed Zim to interview for the head coaching job. You might have found out that he was a lot more equipped for it than Shoddy. You could have still had Shoddy on the offensive side of the ball. I bet you the defense would look 10 times better than what it looks like right now. Eberflus can't even understand left or right. No adjustments or discipline. Something has to change. Again, you're going to change your defensive coordinator, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be more of the same. You know, everybody keep putting these DCs, these players, their feet under the fire. Y'all going to put Will McClay's ass under the fire? Y'all going to put everybody, like, put the people I think it's player personnel, and I think it's more player personnel than anything. They don't got nobody on defense right now, guys. They don't got nobody on defense. They can change the scheme. They have changed the scheme, dog. They have changed the scheme. This is a new scheme. And last year's scheme was different. And the year before that, the scheme was different. They keep changing the scheme. That's the problem. That's the problem. I don't think you paid attention to Cowboys, bro. I don't. How many defensive coordinators have you had in the last 10 years? Let alone, I'm talking about 3 years. How many they had in the last 10 years? They done had different philosophies, different schemes in here. You don't got no continuity. And your defensive coordinator can't pick his groceries. He can't pick his groceries. Like, why is it that Dan Quinn leave and the first thing he do is go get some linebackers? I'm not saying that Washington defense is like great or anything like that. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying over in Washington, Dan Quinn was able to kind of go and get what he needs. It looks a little bit better than this, but in Dallas, when you had a Micah Parsons, you go get the backers. You let Dan Quinn get his backers. You let him get the defensive lineman he wants. And maybe things would have been a little bit different. Hell, DQ did a hell of a job not really getting the type of groceries that he need. Oh, wow. Mr. Keeman said they got the worst defense in the history of the NFL. And you want to know something crazy? We've seen this before. This ain't really new. There have been times where I know when Rex Ryan was coaching, he was the DC. No, I'm sorry, Rob Ryan. When Rob Ryan was the DC, I know when Nolan was the DC. And now you're looking at Eberflus as the DC. And I think all three of them at a certain point were at a record pace of like worst defenses in NFL history. Kiffin too. Guys, like, this isn't really new. It just feels new because it just happened. This has been going on for a long time. So it's like, you can put the blame on Eberflus. You can put the blame on the players, but it's just like at a certain point, you just like, bro. I told Mark this. Mark was just like, Mark said this inside. He was like, if we could just get a defense that's middle of the pack or even just the 20th rank. And I'm like, man, I said that when Romo was quarterbacking. I said that in 2014. I said that in like 2012. Remember the years that Dallas went 8-8, 3 years in a row with Romo at quarterback? We said the same things then. All Dak is playing right now at the highest level I've ever seen Dak playing at right now. And it looks like when Romo was playing here. If you could just get the defense to be 20th ranked and not 32nd ranked, you could have a Super Bowl. Bruh, that's been said in Dallas for 20 years at least. 20 years, bro. Jeez. I can't tell you the last time that you could really look at the Dallas defense and say that that's a tough defense. Harold Edwards said, what was it that Dallas saw in Eberflus? He couldn't make it as Bears head coach, so why did we get him? Remember, he was in Dallas before. Before he went to Indianapolis, and he took that DC job in Indianapolis, he was in Dallas, and they gave him all this credit for the linebackers that he built in Dallas, where he had Bruce Carter and Sean Lee and all these type of people. And, you know what I'm saying, he got the DC job over in Indianapolis, and they did some things over there. I'm not saying that Eberflus isn't a good defensive mind. But these ain't Eberflus's dudes. And if you think about it, he got a raw deal. But never mind. I'm not going to say he got a raw deal because all of the coaches voted to let Micah ass get traded. All of the coaches, all of the front office, they said it was unanimous. So you didn't get dealt a raw deal as much. But still, none of these guys are his. None of these guys are really his. He inherited somebody else's. He inherited somebody who Zim inherited. This is damn near Dan Quinn's defense almost. Or the way that it was built was kind of like that. You can't really look at how this defense is constructed and say that it makes sense. You can't really say with how this defense is constructed, that they'd be good at something. What would you say if you're looking at this defense and you look at the roster defensively? What do you think that they would be good at? I don't think that they'd be good at anything. I can't, like, all of the rushers are middle of the pack type guys. Kenny Clark, Osa, okay. They're okay. They're solid. Linebackers, you got a linebacker core who has to prove themselves, so they're still green. That whole linebacker side is green, except for maybe Murray. And, you know what I'm saying, he kind of failed wherever he went multiple times. You look on the back end, okay, you got Trey and Bland who are accomplished, but they're playing in a scheme that they don't like. None of them like it. They don't like playing that zone. They like playing man, but they're playing something they don't like. And then you got safeties that can't cover. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what are y'all expecting this defense to be good at? What can they be good at? The way that this defense is built to just have 11, excuse my French, built to have 11 motherfuckers out there. That's it. Alex said, question, is the season somewhat over with, 2-3-1, consider many other teams are on the four-win games. It's not really over. I wouldn't say it's over, but losing to Carolina does not help. And I was explaining this to Mark, why it didn't help. With Philadelphia losing 2 in a row, with Washington just getting Jaden back, with the Giants, I mean, this was your opportunity really with the NFC game. Another NFC, like the Jets game, that win, okay, it was a win, but that was an AFC win. And everybody's probably going to beat the damn Jets. You know what I'm saying? If they play them, like, I mean, in the NFC or whatnot, like common opponents or whatever. But you needed to get that NFC win today. This was supposed to be marked as a, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah. We gotta get this dude up out of here. What is he talking about? That's crazy. Defense is like toilet paper. But yeah, I don't think it's over. And I actually seen Dallas worse. I think at one time they were 3-5 before they made an Amari Cooper trade. And sometimes all you really just need is the right energy. I don't know if they can make a trade or two or whatnot and then Overshown come back. I don't know if they can do that. Maybe they can. They have the capital certainly to do so. Dirt Nasty said, yeah, it's over, bro. This was 100% our chance, and they effing blew it. Yep. You had to get that NFC win today. Had to. You know what I'm saying? I thought that this was a must-win. I thought that both games was must-win. The fact that you went 1-1 in these games, and then, like, Washington, you gotta beat Washington. The season is completely over if you lose to Washington. If you lose to Washington next week, season's over. You might as well try and see what you can get with them picks. You lose to Washington next week, I think you can almost pack it up. I think you can pack it up down there. Dirt Nasty said this game just completely smashed any hope I have for this year. But it'd be Dallas to just go and beat Washington next week. I'm telling you. It'd be Dallas to just go and beat Washington next week. That'd be crazy. So, but I do think that I thought today was a must-win, but it's really a must-win next week. For sure. If they had at least gone for the field goal before the end of the first half, could have been a difference. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. I think so, too. I mean, you didn't have anything to lose from it if you would have tried. You didn't have anything to lose. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could have negated the field goal that Carolina just got. Carolina getting that field goal right before half, that kind of gave them the boost coming out of half to go, you know what I'm saying, and drive down and do what they did. And then Rico kind of took over the game after that. Alex said, well, tank this whole year session. I don't know, bro. I don't know, Alex. I don't know. But I think I'm going to go back inside. You know, if you guys aren't tuned in, make sure that you tune in to Mark Holmes' live stream right now. I'll be in there. I got to charge my phone a little bit. Phone's on 8%. And, you know, I'll do something talking about it tomorrow. You know, I'm not supposed to be doing a whole bunch of Cowboy-centric stuff like that. But, you know, I thought that this deserved a live session to talk about it and really just allow people to hear my thoughts after the game and really just, I don't know, allow you guys to vent in the comment section. What's going on, Vance? Lisa is like, our defense. Oh, man. You knew this was going to be a trap game. How can it be I don't know if it, how can it be a trap game? Dallas really ain't good. Dallas ain't a good team. Dallas is the trap game right now. What? Mark's computer blew up. You're lying. Oh, man. Maybe they sing a happy birthday upstairs. But, yeah, let me go, man. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.